Hello everyone, ako si Brother Enoch Alban. I'm a student and a new husband and soon-to-be dad. I currently volunteer as an institute teacher. I teach the Pearl of Great Price. So, praying for your students individually, I've read sa recent training na it's very powerful to pray for your students individually rather than praying for them by group. And na-experience ko yun siya before I prepared my lesson. I prayed for each of my students by name. And I prayed specifically na tulungan ako ng Diyos to be an instrument to help them to know Him more and so that they will feel yung love ng Diyos para sa kanila. And as I prayed for them, dumating yung mga thoughts and impressions sa mind ko. And I reflected back dun sa mga experiences namin sa class where I really saw yung eagerness nila to learn. One thing that really helped me when I prayed for my students is that na-open yung aking heart and my mind na naging mas sensitive ako sa needs nila pagdating na dun sa actual na teaching moment. And then the Holy Ghost helped me to really know and understand kung ano ba talaga yung needs nila and desires as learners. And I saw them as not just as students but also as fellow children of God na like me who are facing challenges but through the gospel of Jesus Christ na mas ma-overcome nila yun. Para mas maka-focus ako sa pag-pray for my students by name, gumawa ako ng picture roll. So, merong pictures nila na kinuha ko sa Facebook with their permission. And then, after I prayed, I sought to answer 2 questions. So, yung first question ko is, what do I know and not just assume about the student? And then, what do I know and not just assume about their desires and needs as a learner? So, after I prayed, I sought to answer these 2 questions. And I reflected on our learning experiences doon sa Pearl of Great Price. So, for example, itong aking student, nilagay ko dito sa what do I know about this student after praying and reflecting sa experiences namin. Na yung student ko ay siya ay leaving for a mission next month. Tapos sa participation niya sa class, I can see that she is very spiritually mature. She understands the doctrines and principles of scriptures and she sincerely studies the scriptures. At I can see na she really marks her scriptures and student manual pag nasa klase siya. Minamarkahan niya talaga. At siya ay nakaka-remember ng mga spiritual experiences niya really well. Ever since nung childhood niya, naaalala niya pa. And she draws strength from her experiences to increase her testimony. So yun yung alam ko sa kanya based on sa klase, sa learning namin. And what do I know, not just assume about their desires and needs as a learner? So one is, she desires to be an effective teacher and missionary in the field. So I can see na through sa pag-uusap namin at sa pag-participate niya sa class na this is something na she desires. Tapos, she is already thinking about her plans and goals after the mission. And she mentioned about sealing ordinances din. So, before class, nagkaroon kami ng opportunity na mag-usap. Ito yung nabanggit niya sa akin about her desires and plans for the future. And she needs to draw strength from the atonement of Jesus Christ to overcome feelings of inadequacy continually. At para to have this, she can reflect back on her experiences that have helped strengthen her testimony of the atonement of Jesus Christ. So sa aking lesson preparation, after na nagkaroon ako ng mga information na ganito, nag-come up ako ng questions para matulungan sila sa kanilang mga desires. Since yung mga classmates ko nag-desire sila na, for example, ito siya, nag-desire siya na maging effective na missionary, na maging effective na teacher habang nasa field. So, one of the questions na I asked them during class is, what are some of the spiritual blessings that you desire? And dahil yung lesson namin ay yung sa story ni Abraham, so I asked them, like Abraham, how are you seeking for these blessings? So, ang ginawa ko, pinair ko sila para mag-usap sila at mag-share sila ng kanilang mga gusto na spiritual blessings. So, dahil doon sa ginawa ko na pag-pray for them by name, na-inspire ako na gumawa ng questions that will really help them to think about yung kanilang mga desires and yung kanilang mga goals. And yung isa rin na nangyari sa akin personally is during class, talagang na-open yung aking heart and yung aking mind sa kanila, na mas nagkaroon ako ng love para sa aking mga students. And shinare ko rin yun sa kanila na as I prayed for them, na I prayed na for their faith to fail not. Parang yun yung sinabi ko. So I have a student na she is really struggling emotionally and mentally. And one day, nung nagchat siya, nagtanong siya sa akin na, does God forsake us? And then I answered her and said na, God does not forsake us. Pero although sometimes we may feel forsaken and alone. And then I invited her na mag-attend ka ng class kasi I know that our lesson can really help you. And yung lesson na yun maganda kasi it talked about how God weeps for us and how God cares for us. So I thought about her and I thought about that lesson and I said, pag mag-attend siya, i-make sure ko na yung question niya na yun ay ma-answer, na ma-feel niya na God is there for us and He knows us and He knows the details of our lives, and He even cries for us when we make mistakes, and He wants to reach out to us. So yun yung gusto ko na ma-feel niya during dun sa class. So I made sure na yung mga questions ko ay papunta doon, na we can change our lesson based on their needs. Now, we can change our lesson in such a way na it will really help na ma-answer yung kanilang mga questions.